Guess who's back? It's been a few weeks I've been gone, Levi. Mm-hmm. Welcome everybody to the Ripple Effect Podcast. We are so glad that you have joined us, whether you're listening to this online or watching this. We are so glad that you are here. In the studio, I've got Levi Black to my left, and I've got Mr. Brian Sevitz to my right. And it's a bro podcast. Girls have been kicked out, not allowed. Total bro podcast. So we're glad that you've joined us today. And as always, this podcast just gives you kind of behind the scenes look at things going on at Timberlake and some things that you need to know going forward, and helps us spotlight some things that are happening. But before we get to any of that, we have the spotlight of the week for you. And the spotlight of the week is, drum roll please. Old
sponsor of the week.
Sponsor.
What'd I say?
You said spotlight.
Take two. Sponsor of the week. You went drum roll with just your word, like your mouth, not with the. We have a grilled cheese sandwich, and this is leftover from Sunday. And Levi, why do we have these?
Because we had a high school fundraiser this Sunday. Mm-hmm. It was a fundraiser lunch,
and we had grilled cheese.
Had grilled cheese.
And
we had like 10, 12 different kinds of soups.
Mm-hmm. And, you know, on a cold day, you can't hardly beat a tomato soup and grilled cheese sandwich. I don't love tomato soup.
Nope, wouldn't be tomato soup for me.
I don't love it. I don't love it. But when there's grilled cheese, I can dip it in there, and that's about as much tomato soup as I get out of it. But it was fun. It was a good lunch. Mm-hmm. Do y'all want to hear something I did? Since it's just the bros, I'll confess this to you. I was trying to be helpful for my wife, and so I made a roast that was going to be done and ready to go right at lunchtime on Sunday. And then we get to church, and I'm like, I forgot about the fundraiser.
So did you have roast for supper?
We had roast for dinner. So it worked out. It was fine.
Probably better by then anyway.
It was. It got soaked in there and everything. So there you go. We hope that you enjoyed it. If you missed the fundraiser lunch, there's two things that you can do. Number one, you can go to the kitchen and get some leftover grilled cheese. You want to eat that?
I saw you put it on the floor.
You can get that. But the second thing you do is you can donate some money to help our kids as they get ready to go on trips this summer. They've got some CIY trips coming up. They've got NYR trips coming up. They've got camps that are coming up. And so we do fundraisers to help support our students as they have different summer experiences that we want them to have, but they might not be able to afford it. So if you weren't there and you feel like, hey, I want to be a part of helping them, just send in some money. You can note the check, or if you give online, you can put a tagline on it and say, I want to give to support the fundraiser, and we'd appreciate that. Did I hit you with the grilled cheese? I'm sorry.
No, my coffee dripped on me.
Okay, I got a little overexcited. Are we announcing now how that went? Are we talking about that, or do we even have numbers? How did it go? Do we have?
You can estimate it.
Well, we did really good. The fundraiser, we got quite a bit more than we got last year.
Great.
And so it was really, really good. This year we did just high schoolers. Mm-hmm. Last year we kind of opened it up to anybody who wanted to help. Mm-hmm. And so we had high schoolers, we had middle schoolers, we had a ton of people and not enough jobs to go around.
Yeah.
And
then you got to divide the money more ways.
Yeah. So we did just high schoolers this year. We put a certain cap. This is how many jobs that we have. And so all the students signed up. And in doing so, each student made a lot more money this year. And so it'll help greatly to go towards camp or CIY or any of those types of trips.
You'd be a great politician because you answered the question without answering the question. He's not going to tell us the numbers, folks. He's not going to do it. But that's okay. That's fine. We don't need to know the details. It helped them. It was a great fundraiser. Lots of people. There's a lot of people that stayed afterwards. Yeah, it was a good group. So there you go. The spotlight of the week. Sponsor of the week. We need the ladies back. Is what's happening. It's falling apart. The sponsor of the week is grilled cheese sandwich. All right, let's review this past Sunday. Anything other than the fundraiser happened for you this past Sunday? Was it a good day?
Yeah, it was pretty good. We did Sunday school. We're going through a study on Psalms right now.
Ooh.
And yeah, we went over Psalms 8, which is really, really cool. It talked about it being a worldview psalm and how just that psalm can answer each of the 4 worldview questions. And we walked through what that meant. And it was really, really cool. I had never heard anyone talk about Psalm 8 before and break it down. It's only 9 verses. And it
has all that in those 9 verses.
Yeah.
Wow.
It was really, really cool.
That's fantastic.
I thought it went over really well too.
Cool. That's awesome. Brian, how was your Sunday?
Good. Yep. We had our high school singers.
Oh yeah. Mackenzie
Yeah.
and Nathan helped out on Sunday. That was great.
That was fun.
Yeah. It was good.
I think that's the first time Nathan had been just like on the regular praise team. He's been up there with the students before, but everyone did a great job. You were up there too?
Yeah, I had double duty, and it was a lot of fun. I love playing. Stop it, duty. Seriously? Well, I guess it's a bro podcast, so we can duty.
You can thank Walt for that.
A duty?
Yeah. Wow. Anytime anyone says duty,
you gotta laugh.
He can't help it.
My wife does the same thing. Macy, every time she hears someone say, when I'm writing sermons, if I'm writing a sermon talking about like Christian responsibility, I cannot use the word duty, or she will laugh in the audience. Yeah, I love playing when you're leading, because I just get to do the other fun stuff and not have to think about how the song is going to go or starting it. I get to just be there and have fun.
Same way. Yeah, I think it is fun to play when we're not leading.
Yeah,
I do that once in a while with one of you guys, and it is fun. Yeah. And you can do more fun stuff because your brain isn't split between singing, talking, all that.
Yeah. But it was a good Sunday. This past week was the 3rd installment of our Intentional Church series, and we talked about the idea of fellowship and what that looks like and sharing with one another. And so if you missed any of that, you can go to tlcc.church and you can watch the service if you'd like online. You can also catch it on Facebook and catch up with everything that had happened. All right, we've got the TLCC top 3 for you coming up. And Brian, what do we need to know coming into this week?
All right, number 1 is show up at 9 a.m. for Rita Rolls. That's what Cheryl said to announce.
Rolls. What day?
Sunday, 9 o'clock is Us Gen.
Oh, all right.
And the enticer, if you don't normally come to Us Gen, is I guess they're serving Rita's cinnamon rolls. So
I love her cinnamon rolls.
You can't just pop in and get one and then leave. You have to stay for Us Gen.
Absolutely.
I actually hear great things about Us Gen.
All right, so let's for our tens and tens of followers here, our masses here. What is Us Gen and why is it important? Levi?
Me? Well,
okay. I mean, it has to do with the youth, so I'm putting
so UsGen is a multi-generational discussion. Mm-hmm. It's a guided discussion. I believe it's Cheryl, Joel, and Rachel who write it all out every month.
Okay.
It's the last week of every month. And basically what it is it takes place during first service at what would be Sunday school for middle school, high school, and adult classes. Mm-hmm. So you have age ranges from a very seasoned generation, and then you have middle schoolers in there too. So you have middle school, high school, and a wide range of adult classes all together.
Yep.
And so they come together, they get divided into groups based off of what they like. Usually it's like in the fall, it was what your favorite fall activity was, like playing in the leaves, fall sports, stuff like that.
Yeah. And
so you choose one of those, you get divided up into a group, and then you have a guided discussion together throughout many generations. And it's really, really cool. It's a lot of fun.
All right, I'm going to come back to you in a second. Brian, why do you think having different generations in the same room can be a good thing? Why do we think that's a good thing?
I mean, in general, they just share wisdom usually you think about from the older to the younger, but it can go the opposite direction too as far as perspective. I think a lot of times younger people also help someone from an older generation understand why certain changes are made or even what certain technological advances and things and all that mean to the younger generation, because they may just look at it as an evil when actually there can be some positives found in those. But, I grew up in a church that was, a family environment. It wasn't that large of a church, usually 60 or 70 people, and it was like one big family. You didn't have, you know, a lot of paid ministers and stuff, so there was a lot of just like the older people help the younger people, all volunteer, all just. I mean, there was some organization to it. I don't want to say it's all haphazard. Like there was, you know, they planned things, they bought
Because
curriculum.
you're interacting a lot more.
Yeah, a lot of
with
it was
different
more
ages.
organic. We have to use that term, and I think a lot of life skills just bleed off on you in that kind of an environment. And in the USGen, I don't get to attend that, but from what I gather, both from Jessica and Preston sharing, and other people who we went through a season where we didn't have it, and the people that missed it missed those interactions of it just helps me see our whole church and these different perspectives better, and helps me appreciate one another more.
Yeah. And I'm glad you brought up your church experience, because I had something similar where you're working alongside older individuals and you hope that you're encouraging them, but you're also learning so much, and so much of playing music or even working in a church or even just life skills comes from learning from different people. So, so are you going to be in USGen? This is what I was going to come back to you.
Yeah.
You'll
I'll
be
be
in
in
USGen. Okay. That's
Well,
wonderful.
I'll be there for the cinnamon rolls at least.
Absolutely. You did your duty well. Good job. Way to present that. So that's happening this coming Sunday at 9 a.m. And if you want to see what that's all about, we highly encourage, if you're an adult and you've not been a part of USGen, then go to this. It's a great environment, and you get some cinnamon rolls. Okay, next up.
All right, second one. Actually, these are a couple of things we talked about last week. I think the Como Men's Conference coming up. You need to sign up by Sunday, and the cost to go is $69.95. You can register on your own if you need help with that. You know, we'll try to contact you, those that signed up on the paper, and make sure that you've gotten registered. But we really just need to know who wants to go. We only have a couple people signed up. We have several others that have told us you want to go, but you really need to officially let us know, so we can help make sure people have tickets. We are neither one going to be able to go this year, but we're still trying to make sure it's organized and that people have a chance to attend.
And why won't we be able to go?
Yeah, the third of the TLCC top 3 is the Missouri Christian Convention. You also need to sign up by Sunday if you want to ride in a church van.
On Saturday.
We aren't even guaranteeing we're taking a church van, but if there's enough people that just wanted a day trip, you know, a lot of people like to go, make it a weekend, spend the night, all that. If you do that, you're completely on your own. Just plan your own thing. But if you wanted to go for a day trip, we were considering having a church van come down for Saturday. So, again, 2 sign-up sheets in the lobby at the sign-ups table. One of them for Como Conference, one of them for the Missouri Christian Convention. They're the same weekend.
Yep.
So, yep. That's the TLCC top 3.
USGen, 9 a.m. Be there for the rolls. Como Men's Conference, you gotta sign up, or we're not going to be able to get a group together and go. So let us know if you're going. And then if you want to go to the Missouri Christian Convention, you'd like to go just on that Saturday, and you're like, hey, I want to jump in the van and go down, let us know so we can line that up.
And I didn't say the dates for any of that. This is
March 8th
March 8th and 9th is the Missouri Christian Convention. March 9th
is the Como.
is Como Conference.
Yeah.
USGen is the Sunday the 25th.
Yeah, there you go.
We have actually more than 3 announcements because our spotlight for the day is
It's all announcements.
more announcements.
It's all announcements.
But they were announcements that we really need you to know, because some of these you need to kind of get it on your calendar and
Gotta
plan to be
plan.
here.
I hate calendars.
Yeah.
But they're necessary.
Yeah.
You know, when you want to live like an adult, you gotta get used to calendars. Unfortunate.
So we have several things planned, and some of them are the normal things. Some of them are different new things for Easter season, we might as well say. This isn't
The
just Easter weekend.
season.
The Easter season.
The Lenten season.
Yeah. So, first thing we wanted to mention is something completely different we've never had here before. It's something called Easter Stories and Songs with Bill Wolf. Now, I didn't know. I didn't know Bill Wolf.
How did we hear about him? How did he get on our
Walt,
radar?
it's a friend of Walt Harper. I believe Walt knows him from Johnson.
Yep. Now we know who to blame if it's not good.
Yeah. So, so
It's gonna be good.
I think Walt did his doctorate at Johnson, right? Is that right?
I don't know.
I may be completely
We should have a
wrong.
private
Anyway,
conversation about
Walt's
this.
gonna watch this and be like, "What are you even talking about?" But anyway,
He knows him.
He linked us up with a guy named Bill Wolf, who takes a tour around Easter with this thing called Easter Stories and Songs, and they asked us if we'd like to host one of the evenings, and we're going to do that.
It's a group, and it's made up of worship leaders
Yeah.
and musicians that have a program, and it has been a while, I should just say, since we've had like a program song story night. They used to call those like cantatas. They used to have choirs that would go around and put on these singspirations and different things. It's been a while since we've had one, and it's a good night. And so Mr. Wolf is coming with his group and doing it.
Yep. So that's going to be on March 19th. I think that's a Tuesday.
It's a Tuesday night.
6:30 p.m. We're going to serve some desserts, which will be provided for you, no charge. Although some of you will probably be asked to make a dessert, but we're going to just have a little bit of fellowship time to start out the night, and then they'll go into their program. And they said it's interactive. There's a lot of new songs that they wrote, original music, but there's also reading scripture. I think it sounds like a really cool program leading up to Easter.
Yeah.
And the great thing for us is it's something we didn't have to plan. We just get to come to it and enjoy it, which
Wild.
we don't get to do that often, to be honest.
Absolutely.
So that's something coming up. We will have our Good Friday service on Good Friday, March 29th. That's going to be at 7 p.m. as usual. We try to do that one a little later because it's a weeknight and people are getting off work and need to get dinner and stuff. So 7 p.m. Both the Bill Wolf thing and Good Friday are kind of family style.
Yep.
We try to keep Good Friday to no more than an hour. It's not necessarily designed for kids, but we try to keep those things kid friendly.
Yeah.
And we try to also have some activities. So we plan to have some tables set up along the edge of maybe coloring sheets or some kind of activity. So if you have your kids in there, we did plan to have nursery.
On the Good Friday service, we'll have nursery for the younger kids, and then your older ones can be with you through that service. But yeah.
And we're going to be putting that together. Every year we like to do something just a little bit different. Anthony Brake is helping plan this one, so we're looking forward to that. And then our Easter services, we're going with the same schedule we've used for a couple years now. It worked. We thought, why change it? So we move our first service earlier, and we started at 8. That really helps some of you who come to a service and then go see family like a couple hours away or something. You get to go to your home church and then travel.
Yeah.
So 8 a.m. Easter Sunday, 10:45 service will be the same, but in between we do an all-church breakfast. It's totally donation-based, kind of like we did with the youth. It's planned by the children's ministry, and they help cook, they help set up, they help decorate, they help clean up. They have jobs. They take their jobs very seriously.
A very well-oiled machine.
And again, we just get to enjoy it. So we get done with first service, and we get our food, and then you get to spread out. I also love that day because you go and you sit in different classrooms, and you don't know who you're going to be sitting by.
I
you
love
get
that
to
too.
meet somebody new. I think I talk to somebody new every year at that thing because you just don't know who's going to be in there. And you go sit down.
And I love at Easter time because sometimes that can be like a really busy time. And on that day, things are a little spread out. It's more time to actually be with the people. And I really appreciate that.
Yep. So those are our plans for Easter.
So you got Mr. Bill Wolf and songs and stories that will center around Easter, preparing our hearts and minds for Easter, and that's on March 19th. It'll start at 6:30, have some time of fellowship, and then the service will start closer to 7. And then you've got Good Friday service, which happens at 7 o'clock on Good Friday, which is a Friday. Just to let you know, it's on a Friday. And then our Easter schedule, which will start with an 8 a.m. service, and then we'll have an all-church breakfast, and then our 10:45 service like normal. So there you go, to be aware of all the different things that are coming up for this Easter season.
Okay.
You good?
Yep.
Okay. You good?
Yeah.
All right. Well, on Sunday, we're going to close with a blessing here. On Sunday, we were talking about fellowship, and I preached a very idealistic sermon. And I was talking about how we are sharing. We share beliefs, and we share, oh boy. We share beliefs.
Possession.
We share possessions. You were listening to the sermon. Yes. We share possessions, and we share a praise of Jesus. It's very idealistic because we've all had instances where you're not able to share anymore and things break down. So what happens when fellowship breaks apart? And even the early church had this. And I didn't want to spend time in the sermon talking about the what ifs of if relationships break down or when you don't have relationships with one another. But there's a book, which is a great book by Francis Chan called Until Unity. And he talks a little bit about this in his book, and he gives just some examples of when is there a natural breaking between people. So I just want to read a couple of things. There's 5, 6, 7, 8 things of when an individual start believing these types of things, the fellowship naturally breaks apart. He says, remember that Paul told the Corinthians, I decided to know nothing among you except Jesus Christ and him crucified. Does that mean he didn't care about or teach on anything else? Of course not. But the writers of the New Testament had a clear concern over key beliefs regarding Jesus. And I think that's the biggest thing is, am I arguing over clear beliefs about Jesus? And do I have a differences of opinion about that? Or is this more my own preference and convictions? So here are a few false teachings that are warned against in New Testament that if someone's believing them, there's going to be a separation. Number 1, claiming that someone else is the Christ, the Messiah. 2, saying Jesus is cursed or is accursed. 3, judging people over the foods they eat, the festivals they celebrate, requiring harsh bodily discipline as a mean of obtaining godliness. Number 4, getting caught up in myths and endless genealogies to promote speculation, which is why I could care less about your astronomical signs and things like that. You can get, if you're going to talk about it or whatever, that's fine. But to get caught up in myths like that can detract away from Christ. Here we go. What number was I on? That was 1, 2, 3, 4. Here's 5. Forbidding marriage and certain foods, wandering off into myths, denying that Jesus came in the flesh, and turning the grace of God into sensuality or means for great gain. And the point that he says here is we challenge each other's actions, and we might even challenge each other's teachings, but we must do it with love and humility, and our goal is to seek repentance. But we have to pursue truth in the same way Jesus and the apostles did, with grace and humility. If you want to learn more about, okay, how do I try to maintain unity with grace and humility while also maintaining convictions and truth, I can't wait for our study through 1 Corinthians because we're going to talk about that. But this might be a good book for you, Until Unity, that talks a little bit about that. So the blessing of the week is to know, yes, we hang on to core convictions, but they're core convictions about who Jesus is and trying to know Christ and the power of his resurrection. So I hope that as you think through your own unique situations of people that you're either connected with or maybe feeling like there's going to be a disconnect, really challenging yourself to think, can I not have unity with them because of what I believe about Jesus, or is it just something about myself? Anyway, there you go.
Okay.
Thank you. God bless you all. You got anything else to say?
I'm pretty good. Yeah.
You got anything else?
I'm good.
All right. Well, that's it for the Ripple Effect podcast. Can't wait to see you here next week. See you.